ask you for your biggest takeaways from the Bills' preseason opener. Obviously, most of the starters not participating in that game. There were a smattering of them here and there. And then on the show today, we'll hear from Leslie Frazier, who addressed the meeting this morning. He's got some comments. And we'll also hear from Star Lotulelei, probably in the second hour of the show. He's addressing today. And as we mentioned, did not play last week. And then in the third hour of our show, back from NFL Films, it is Greg Cosell. He'll be breaking down the Bills' first preseason game. We've got a list of players that we sent him, knowing he was going to be crunching the film anyway, to give us his film grading on several players that participated in the game Friday for the Bills. I know I sent some names over to him, so knowing that's all he does, Steve, why not tap into that? So we'll get his feedback on what the tape told him about some of the individual performances on Friday night against the Lions. What was the atmosphere like, Steve, in Detroit?
Pretty good.
It wasn't packed there at the stands, right?
This was about like the Bills' old practice.
Like 16,000?
Yeah, 15, 18, might have been 20,000 people.
Yeah.
Spread scattered out. I don't know, and I didn't hear that there was any restrictions or anything, but it was a preseason game. Yeah. And, the Bills sat 21 of their top 22 players on the roster.
Howdy Ford was the guy that started.
Gabe Davis, and Levi Wallace. That's probably it. And the defensive line, I mean, you make a case that all, except for Starr, but all that they rotated 8, 9 guys, 10 guys, 13 guys through there. And Jerry didn't play. Right. So it was, give you the list.
There was backups.
Yeah. Deion Dawkins, Feliciano, Mitch Morris, and Darrell Wade, 4 of the 5 offensive linemen. Beasley, Diggs, Sanders were out. Obviously Josh wasn't out, so it was out. Then you had Jerry Hughes, Star Lotulelei, Mario Williams, Tremaine, Tredavious, McMilano, Taron Johnson,
Mario Addison, not Mario Williams.
Mario Addison, did I say Mario Williams? Yeah. So, let's see, who was it?
A lot of guys in here.
Micah, and Hoyer, AJ Klein even didn't play, Vernon Butler didn't play.
Kind of a fun end to the game, though, with Jake Fromm in there running the 2-minute drill. And, Marquez Stevenson makes a big play down the sidelines.
I'll say this. For all the depth that we talk about and how good Josh is, and we didn't see him, obviously, the quarterbacks, Trubisky, Fromm, and of course Davis Webb, they're the best position group on the field.
Yeah, I heard you say that on the telecast.
I thought
late in the broadcast.
Davis Webb impressed me.
Good decision making.
With his decision making and his poise. Really impressed me. And Jake Fromm, I didn't even know what Jake Fromm looked like in his uniform. Yeah. Right? So it was a really, really good showing by the quarterback room. And the way they managed the offense, and certainly Daboll gets a huge amount of credit for that and how that went. But I was pretty impressed with those guys. And certainly hanging around Josh has got to do something for your ability to dissect things. But man, oh man, I really wasn't. Davis Webb surprised me, so they both did. And Trubisky, he threw twice.
So, he wasn't asked to do a lot because there was clearly a run focus in this game. We heard all offseason when talking about how they felt they had to run the ball more effectively this season. But man, they got right to work on that in the first preseason game. 4 of the first 5 plays, run plays. 8 of the first 10 plays, run plays. At halftime, it's 21 runs, 11 passes. It is the polar opposite of what this offense is going to be. And I think it's rooted in the fact that they want to get work on it now. Because they didn't last preseason. We saw what happened. The run game was a series of fits and starts here.
I was eating lunch and Brian Daboll there and Brandon Bean was there. Daboll was asking if he would be mad if he ran it 10 straight times to start the game. I thought he was kidding, right?
No, he wasn't.
He was not kidding. He ran it 8 times. Yeah. So that's the way it goes. It's something that you want to do. The preseason, the philosophy is different, and therefore the play calls are different. And there's no question that was just an absolute decision by Brian Dable.
Yeah.
Let's see what you got. Those offensive linemen up front, there are 4 different guys from the starting group. Spencer Brown played left tackle for almost the entirety of the thing. He did come out in the second half.
Got a lot of work.
They got a lot of work. And there were moments when it looked pretty good.
Pass rush was also something that popped in flashes. Greg Rousseau got early work and made it count. Sack on the 3rd play of the game.
I'll tell you this too, the guy that made that sack for Rousseau was Harrison Phillips.
Yeah, the penetration he got.
Yeah, he got an enormous push on the guard, gripped and pulled the quarterback, stepped away from Harrison Phillips right into Greg Rousseau, and Rousseau got the sack. Really nice pass rush on that, like coming off the right side of the offense. It's fun to watch. It's fun to think about how good they could be, but with so many young guys in there, I don't know how it's gonna go. This is the play right there for MSG people, and that's quarterback just spun away from it. And, Rousseau gets the credit for that, even though Harrison Phillips was right there, so is that Oliver. So.
Yeah, I also thought that A.J. Epinesa had some good rushes, got home there on 1. Somehow the quarterback still got rid of the football for a 1-yard gain on a pass play. But he got a lot of crunch between Epinesa and Rousseau, who was coming from the other side on the play. And, when all is said and done, at the end of the game, the Bills had 3 sacks, 5 quarterback hits. I thought it was an encouraging performance. And I know later in the game, against second to the street. Quarterbacks, they don't know they don't have Goff does, he got to take it to the ball. Darryl Johnson got home late in the game. Got a sack, so Mike Bell, the linebacker, he got in for a sack. Unfortunately, he got released over the weekend for the 5 players. So 5 players got leave off the roster the day after the game. He doesn't have to get those releases in until tomorrow at 4 p.m. But right after watching the film, he made a decision.
Yeah.
And 3 offensive linemen on the front.
Sean McDermott said during our production meeting on Friday, you're looking at 5 guys, and are those guys going to confirm our thinking, or are they going to refute it during the game? And and it doesn't mean that those 5 are the ones he was talking about. There's 5 other guys who all confirmed their suspicions about being good enough or not good enough, and they make their decisions quick. It's interesting too, because this is an organization who rarely makes decisions ahead of the day. They push it as far as they can, and then do it in their quarters. And this time they did not do that.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And I wouldn't be surprised if they do it again next week. A week from tomorrow, they have to get rid of another 5 players from the roster to get down to the required 8. So they'll have to do it all over again this coming year, or weekend, I should say, because they'll probably let everybody play the game and then go from there. And then the last thing that I came to was the run defense. Kind of kept the Lions under wraps for the first 3.5 quarters. Did a really nice job. 58 yards on 20 carries for the Lions for the first 3.5 quarters. I mean, they stymied the Detroit rushing attack. And again, it's preseason. Nothing's coming back. But just in terms of getting a hat on a hat, blocking them, holding the line, winning at the line of scrimmage, clogging up rushing lanes. I thought some of the safeties were good at coming up and filling. Josh Thomas, the App State kid, I thought he did really well, being aggressive and physical. Leslie Frazier had a comment on him this morning, before practice.
The Lions in the first half of that game the other night, they were 3-0. Then they had that 18-play drive that the Bills forced them into a field goal attempt. They had 3-out, then an 18-play drive, then a 3-out, then 4-out. Then they come out and had a 4-out in the third quarter. Then they did put together a 16-play drive. They had 6 plays, 8 plays. The Bills defense did a nice job throughout the night, with the exception of 2 nice, or actually 3, an 8-play drive. But 16-play and an 18-play drive throughout the night is all they kind of gave up.
But Andre Smith and Joe Giles Harris stood out among the linebackers. They were everywhere. And as you mentioned, Harrison Phillips, I thought had a nice day against the run. And as we mentioned, also got a little bit of a push in the pocket. So Yeah, but we want to know what your takeaways are from the Bills' first preseason game. 803-0550, 1-888-550, 2550. We are going to get to some of Coach Frazier's comments when we come back from break, but we have a little more time here. So did you have any standout performers per se, Steve, that you said, wow, that kind of really helped himself in the game on Friday?
Yeah, a couple of linebackers. Joe Giles Harris and Andre Smith. Yeah, they were everywhere. Andre Smith was everywhere. And so was Joe Giles Harris. I thought those guys defensively came out.
Andre Smith was a sideline-to-sideline player.
He did it.
Joe Giles Harris, I thought, showed his anticipation skills as a veteran player. Matter of fact, Leslie Frazier told us this morning, there was a period in the game where they lost all helmet communication. And on the fly, they would go to hand signals. Because I think it was at a time where Detroit was going to hurry up 2 minutes or whatever. And he said, Giles Harris handled it like a pro. Completely unflustered, just took to the hand signals, got everybody lined up. And that's half the battle in these preseason games. You know, you're talking, Steve, about how the quarterbacks you thought availed themselves quite well in the game on Friday. And I would agree with that. But job one is just functionality. It's getting in and out of the huddle, getting to the line of scrimmage, you know, with plenty of time on the play clock, so you can look over the defense, getting the snap, knowing which way to turn, whatever it is. Counting 11 guys in the huddle. I saw Fromm doing that. He's counting them all up, make sure there aren't too many men on the field. And defensively, it's the same thing for those linebackers. You get everybody lined up. You know, if they switch the strength in the front, you got to switch the guys around. People are in motion. You're passing people off if it's a zone coverage. All of that stuff. It sounds simple, but in the first preseason game, it's a little helter-skelter sometimes. And I thought, you know, front to back, back to front, offense, defense, special teams. There were very few mental errors.
It's a real sign of how far this team has come under Sean McDermott, where their roster sits right now. Even your backup linebackers are pulling that stuff off, because that's hard to do. And think about it as well. And this is a team where you're basically looking at the bottom half of your roster, saying, "Hey, can you hang in there with these guys on here?" And not only did they did it with flying colors the other night. You're right. Certainly, the preseason is a time where you're trying to prove yourself as a player and all that, and highly underrated for most, just to be there mentally and to get guys lined up. You can imagine, most people can imagine, if you're a defender, you're all react, particularly before the ball is snapped. You have to make sure, and the middle linebacker and the safeties have to make sure there's a guy covering every eligible receiver, and you know a guy who knows he's got that guy. The Bills, I thought, played a lot of man coverage in the first half the other night, a lot more than they normally would, because you want to see what a guy can do, man, because he match up. Can he do it physically? So they do a lot of things differently. We talked about the offense running the football all the time in the first half of the game. Same thing on defense. They played a lot more man than they would normally in a game, and it was up to those linebackers and corners to get everybody covered up. But you're right, when you lose communication and you have to improvise, it speaks a lot to the experience and the cool-headedness of those guys.
Yeah. So, the game, it had its share of lulls, as preseason games do. I think that's safe to say, but I like what we saw out of Devin Singletary. I thought he was elusive, which has always been a calling card for him, but I thought he was explosive too. So he got a little more work than maybe anticipated with Zach Moss being down with the hamstring strain. Zach Moss is back at practice today. And there's a lot of things to like. We want to know what you like. 803-0550, 1-888-550, 2550. Then I'm going to get on board. What was your biggest takeaway from the Bills' first preseason game? And we're going to go to the tweet sheet, which is where we usually start. Brought to you by Corrigan Moving Systems, the official equipment moving company of the Buffalo Bills. And leading us off today is Jack, who says, impressed with Webb's poise in the offense and athleticism. I thought he was just a pocket passer, and more than once he escaped pressure to make something happen with his legs. If they hold on to him, he'll be a nice number 2 in the future. Also was happy with Rousseau's play his size and athleticism were on display. Let's go back to Davis Webb for a second here, Steve. You touched on it already, but he's got that 3rd and 10. Drops back, rolls out, realizes he has no one, and he has a ton of green grass in front of him, and picks up the first down with a 13-yard run to keep the drive open. And that was just one of the good decisions that he made.
Did he take a hit? He didn't take a hit at the end of that. Did he go out of bounds?
No, I think he either ran out of bounds or lunged to the ground or something.
It was a really sharp play. He had a couple of those. He had a couple of throwaways that were really good. He got called on an intentional grounding on the screen pass.
Yes.
And I thought I put that actually on Breida because Breida turned up the field to try and get it open, and Webb didn't have any place to run to. He had to get rid of it. Breida ran out of the area where Webb tried to throw it, and
it didn't get back to the line of scrimmage.
Right, and it didn't get back to the line of scrimmage. He was under duress. You're supposed to be under duress in the screen pass, but Breida's got to kind of stay in that vicinity. And in fact, in that case, on the screen pass, you almost run to the quarterback rather than the open area, just for that exact reason. But you got called for that. There were a couple of penalties, I think, were the big. If you were looking for something that was a downer about the evening, the Bills are getting penalized as much as they did a bad one. Yeah. And Webb got one of those, but man, oh man, a couple of his throwaways and the way he moved in the pocket and the runs, as you said, man, they spoke volumes about how he was.
Yeah, I thought he performed quite well. And another guy that I thought stood out, and we can get to this in the next segment a little bit more, but that Breida ran tough. In between the tackles, made a nice catch along the sideline. I think he showed his depth ability to be a receiving option out of the backfield. So I thought Breida showed well in the game on Friday as well. I thought he showed, hey, I'm capable of everything. I'm pretty versatile. I can do a lot of things for you. But that was on display there. His run before Singletary's touchdown catch really kind of set things up. That was a straight ahead run for 8 yards. And then they run the play action on the next play. And big red rolls out. He's got Singletary wide open all by himself.
Yeah, I thought Singletary showed up big. And certainly, I thought those guys, you knew they were going to have yeoman's duty because after the couple running backs were hurt, they ended up with 114 yards rushing on the night. And so it's figures 8 for 42 for Singletary, 10 for 27 for Breida, and Webb had 2 for 26. Running game was there. It was good enough. But you're right. I do. I like Breida. You know he's got that extra gear, and but I think Singletary was maybe the best running back in the game.
Yeah. No, I would agree with that. I think Motor looked more like he did in his rookie year than he did last year. More elusive, more explosive, more decisive is where he was running with the football. We have to take a break here, but when we come back, we'll get more of your thoughts on the tweet sheet. We'll also hear from defensive coordinator Leslie Frazier, who addressed the media this morning prior to today's practice. We'll hear from the DC next here on One Bills Live, presented by Gillette Health, Buffalo Bills Radio.
WGR Sports Radio 550. All sports, all the time.
Now see for yourself at Gillette.edu. Classes start August 30th.
You're listening to One Bills Live with Chris Brown and Steve Tasker on the home of the Bills. WGR Sports Radio 550. All sports, all the time.
All right, time to get to some comments from Bills defensive coordinator Leslie Frazier, who addressed the media this morning prior to practice. Second time Coach Frazier was addressing the media during the training camp. And Coach, not surprisingly, was asked about where star Lotulelei is in his return to football after choosing to opt out last year. He did not play in Friday's preseason game, so Coach Frazier was asked, well, he had been off for a year. What was the reasoning behind not even having a dress and getting used to real football again? Here's Coach Frazier on that subject.
Some of why he didn't play in that ball game was some of the good things we've seen in practice. There was enough that we've seen to tell us it wasn't necessary to put him out there in that ball game, and we could wait another week and continue to evaluate some of the players we wanted to be able to see. So he's had a really good camp. And we were all wondering what it would be like when we got him back. And he's been a bright light for us in a lot of ways. So we still got some work ahead of us. He'll get a chance to get some work this week and maybe in the third preseason game as well. But up to this point, he's been a big boost to our defensive line.
So it sounds as though it's trending in the direction of Starr getting some action this week against the Bears. We'll see if that comes to pass, at the very least by the third preseason game. I think to a certain degree, Steve, starters, they might be taken on a case-by-case basis here. The coaching staff in terms of playing time in the preseason. It's not like, yeah, we're throwing all the starters in this week. I think it's going to be, they're going to pick and choose some guys this week, and then I think a lot of them will be out there next week.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what I said earlier. They'll probably have a plan, but every guy will be evaluated
Through the course of this week, through the course of this week.
Every day is different during training camp. It's not like it was 2 decades ago, 3 decades ago. We're going 2 days all this time, and these guys are getting beat up. It's sometimes more subtle. And let's face it, every guy's different. Steph Diggs probably doesn't need work on his out route, So if you have reason to hold him out, I would say there are certain guys that are a little bit more cautious with. If there are players further down the line in the bottom half of the roster where you got some question marks about, you've got to figure out a way to answer those questions.
Right.
And the only way to do is on the field.
Right, and you heard Coach Frazier say it right there. It gave by sitting guys like Starr, who showed us in practice, he's going to be fine. It allowed them and afforded them the opportunity to look at guys on the back half of their roster for far more snaps in the game on Friday than maybe they normally would have.
The real question is, how bad does Steph Diggs need? Are they holding him out because they're cautious, or are they holding him out because it's not right? Same thing with every other guy who's not there. How bad is Deion Dawkins in his post-COVID recovery? That's the question. Are these guys are we going to see them at all? If you see them at all, they're 100%. They're not going to play anybody in this preseason of that stature unless they're 100%. So if they're not, and even if they could be, but they haven't done it, whatever, they haven't had enough practice, they haven't had enough reps. Like if Steph Diggs is absolutely positively healthy on Friday, he's not going to play in the game the next day because he hasn't practiced. That kind of stuff goes on. But the question isn't, are they going to play all their starters? Or the question is, the guys who they're not playing, is it strictly a coach's decision, like it seemed to be with Josh and guys like that, or is it something like Dick, where you got a guy who's not practicing, you got a guy like Deion Dawkins who's not practicing? How bad is that? That's the real question this preseason.
The good news is, Deion Dawkins was in the practice setting today, did get some team reps as he rotated in, so that was good to see. As we mentioned earlier in the show, Stephon Diggs did not practice today, still dealing with that knee ailment. And basically, Coach was asked about Steph yesterday prior to their short afternoon practice, and he said Steph is still down at this point. And somebody followed up, I think, and asked if they could clarify whether Diggs' injury could extend into the regular season. And Coach's answer was, quote, "Not at this point, as far as I am aware, at this point." That's not a no. So we'll have to see where it goes going forward.
But it depends.
He was not out there again today.
Right. It's not one of those things that's doesn't seem to be hiding anything. It's just about how good Steph feels day to day. He didn't say day to day, but
Well, he was asked, is this going to linger into the regular season? He said, not at this point, as far as I'm aware.
so it all depends on the improvement Diggs can get.
Coach was also asked about the percent of Bills getting vaccinated and whether that number has gone up. First day of training camp, Brandon Bean, the general manager, said 80% of the players were on the path of getting fully vaccinated, which means 80% have received at least one vaccination dose. So Coach McDermott was asked for an update on that by the media yesterday, and he said, I think it moved a little bit since we've opened camp. That's about where we are. So maybe a small uptick in vaccination.
I don't want to talking about math, but if they cut 5 guys, you consider those guys on the bubble, probably all vaccinated. What if that drops their ratio?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and there's no debating this because coaches have said as much. If you can carry on day-to-day operations as a normal football club does, without pandemic restrictions or unvaccinated restrictions, you are at a competitive advantage. Players have admitted to that, coaches have said, confirmed that. So hopefully they can get to the level they need to conduct business as usual. I don't know definitively if they are there yet. I would guess they are not, because I would think if they were, Coach McDermott would confirm that when he's asked the question. Hey, we're good to go, we're business as usual. I think you'd be shouting that from the rooftops, you'd be so happy if that came to pass. So that was an interesting comment from over the weekend when he spoke to the media on Sunday. Coach Frazier was also asked for an update on the Cornerback 2 competition between Levi Wallace and Dane Jackson. Levi with another good performance Friday night. We can discuss that after we hear from Coach Frazier on where that position battle stands.
You know, we still have more views that we need, and I think this game against Chicago will help us with that. We feel really good about where Dane is, we feel good about where Levi is, and you know, we still want to make sure we got good quality depth at that corner spot. But Levi's had a terrific camp. Dane's done some good things as well, but we need to continue this process.
So not finalized by any means, and Levi did it again Friday night. That pass break up in the end zone, that looked like an easy play. It was not. That is a very difficult play because I thought, and Coach Frazier talked about it too, he thought it was a fantastic play in the end zone because the quarterback had a very good ball location on that throw where it looked at the outset like the ball was only in a place where the receiver could make a play on the ball, and somehow Levi got there and knocked the ball down.
There's a lot in that play that you can talk about because they had it was a little bit of an ISO play, one-on-one, no question, and the receiver had all kinds of space. He had the whole half of that field outside the hash marks to work by himself with Levi. He couldn't get loose. And we spoke to Sean McDermott about the quarterback, second quarterback battle between Levi Wallace and Dane Jackson and Rashad Brown, who's always guys over there, can't lose. And he said, we made the decision, we told the players that all these guys are going to sit for this preseason game. We go out there for a mock game on Friday. You know, where it's not a mock game, they're play. But they say, okay, the starting offense for this game, it's not Josh. Starting offense, so, you know, Trubisky runs out there with those guys. You know, and then
It's like a walk-through substitution
Right.
drill, and
here's how this game is going to go, right? So they got their depth charts all lined up with all the guys that aren't playing over there underneath. So Sean McDermott's out there standing back in the back of the defense, and the number one defense comes out, and all those guys aren't there. Nobody's out there, but you know what? He goes, there he is, Levi's out there. I mean, he's a starter, a 3-year starter, and he's out there. And interestingly enough, and we talked to Levi a time, you know, Levi's like, I'm okay with it. Because I welcome, this is me.
you need me to show you, I'll show you.
I'm here. And Sean was kind of poignant in his reference to him, there he is. And there he is again. You know, he may be playing, but he's the guy playing. And you could sense the admiration in his voice. And for as much as they brought guys in to try and replace Levi Wallace, and here it is, preseason game number 1, the most inconsequential game of any season. Levi's out there,
And he's making a giant
and
play.
he's standing there ready to play.
And that's a 1-point game. At the end of it, he stopped the touchdown.
And so, yeah, you can say we've had the conversation, and I've been on this, I've said this a zillion different ways, and I'll say it again. You got somebody better, that's fine, but you haven't found him yet. It's been 4 years, going on 4 years. So you can say what you want, but you've got to tip your hat to Levi Wallace, and he showed you again in that play why he's hard to get out of the field.
Great time for us here. We've got one more comment coming away from Coach Frazier on one of the standouts defensively in Friday's game against the Lions. We'll tell you who that is as will Coach Frazier when we return here on One Bills Live, presented by Collide Health. This is Buffalo Bills Radio.
WGR Sports Radio 550. All sports, all the time. It's like a blink. Choice. Jeep Renegade 259, Jeep Compass 269 a month, Transit Town Jeep Chrysler Dodge Ram. If you need a truck, we've got them at Transit Town Jeep Chrysler Dodge Ram. Over 60 Rams available now. So get a new Ram 1500 Warlock for $299 a month while you can. You need a truck, get a Ram 1500 Warlock for $299 a month. Transit Town Jeep Chrysler Dodge Ram.
On approved credit, lease is 39 months, 10,000 miles per year, 25 cents per mile. No down payment, just taxes, fees, and first payment due at signing. Leasing responsible for maintenance and repair. Includes conquest or returning leasing cash and Stellantis loyalty cash. Not all buyers will qualify. Offer expires 8/31/20.
It's your choice. Jeep Renegade $259 a month, Jeep Compass $269 a month, or a brand new Ram 1500 Warlock $299 a month. Come get them while we still got them. Transit Town Jeep Chrysler Dodge Ram.
Steel is strong and resilient, just like the people who make it. For over 125 years, Republic Steel has been making products that impact lives around the world and is good at hiring electricians, millwrights, and general labor positions. These are union jobs with great pay, plus benefits like free healthcare, medical and dental benefits, company paid life insurance, a 401k, plus a pension. If you're ready to start an exciting career, apply today at republicsteel.com. That's republicsteel.com.
Sal Capaccio here, and we're all on the move right now. Some of us are going on vacation, some are visiting friends and family, and some are moving from the couch to the hammock. Well, no matter how you're moving this summer, make sure you've got plenty of my favorite one-and-done cooking sauce close at hand. Country Sweet makes everything taste better. With 3 delicious flavors to choose from, mild, hot, or barbecue, you can please everyone. From the campsite to the backyard. Available at your local grocery store, just look for the red label. Country Sweet.
It's all about the sauce! Finding the perfect used car can feel like searching for a needle in a haystack. At Northtown, we make it simple with a focus on certified pre-owned. When you see the certified symbol from the official vehicle manufacturer, you know the vehicle has passed a rigorous inspection and comes with extra benefits, like a manufacturer warranty and roadside assistance. To find the best value and peace of mind, head to Northtown. Northtown Certified Vehicles. An official partner of the Buffalo Bills.
Hi, I'm Josh Allen, quarterback for the Buffalo Bills. Teamwork is defined as the combined action of a group, especially when effective in a team. But in Western New York, it's truly defined by the critical team and the entire chosen time. This team doesn't win games, they save lives. Join me to support their life-changing wins. Give today at patriciaallenfund.org.
Life is already full of surprises, but your tuition shouldn't be one of them. While education costs rise in the U.S. every year, University of Phoenix is committed to protecting you from rising tuition costs with our tuition guarantee. We lock in your tuition, so you can count on fixed, affordable tuition from the moment you enroll to the day you graduate from your program. Learn more at phoenix.edu.
At Progressive, we're making things even easier. We'll help you bundle your home and car insurance together so you can save on both. Learn more at progressive.com or 1-800-PROGRESSIVE.
A lot of things have changed in 40 years, but mouth-watering hoagies from Jim's Takeout has not. Dine in, Takeout, or get their famous flavor delivered for the game. Visit jimstakeout.com. Jim's Takeout, celebrating 40 years of mouth-watering hoagies and chicken finger subs.
You're listening to One Bills Live with Chris Brown and Steve Tasker on the home of the Bills. WGR Sports Radio 550. All sports, all the time.
All right, back here on One Bills Live, Chris Brown, Steve Tasker with you. Red Cosell coming your way in about 20 some odd minutes. And so he was doing a lot of film review. That's really all he does. Just ask his wife. And he asked us to give him some players to grade off the film from the preseason game. So we've had some awesome things, and we'll go over those in the third part of our program. We to get more of your thoughts on your biggest takeaways from Friday's game. And Bill on the tweet sheet says it'll be interesting to see Jake Fromm play the next game. The talk is that they'll give him second team rest because the third team O-line didn't give him enough time.
switch it up between Davis Webb and Jake Fromm, maybe
Yeah.
they're gonna do it that way, but it has nothing to do with, yeah, whatever. Yeah, they may. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see him play. You're right, I don't get this thing about the offensive line not giving him time. I didn't get that idea. I thought Webb ran a little bit more for his life than Fromm did, but it's hard for me to go back and think, but I didn't keep track of the rotation of offensive line and who played for who either. So maybe you did, I don't know, but you gotta play with who you're out there with. So Jake Fromm is gonna see more reps, no question. He's one of those guys, guys that did it.
The one thing I noticed about Fromm was, we've seen it go out here in training, and there are times where the zip on the ball isn't on a level with even Davis Webb or Mitchell Trubisky. Arm strength is not one of his high-end strengths of his game. But I gotta say, in the game, his passes look to have a little more zip on them. I don't know if it's just adrenaline or what's going, but he had a little more zip on the ball.
Yeah, he looked like a pro quarterback. I gotta say, he looked like a pro. And there, when you stand next to Josh, he looks like a sixth grader who got in on a day pass. Because, but he did acquit himself really well in that game.
Right.
And he does have really good anticipation as well. So the ball comes out on time and gets there. So it's now you see why the guy got drafted. He's got something. He is not just an afterthought. He can play. So, he's on a team with number 2 overall pick and Jack Trump's 7th overall, and 2 guys that have elite traits physically. So he's never going to look like he owns the joint. But I'll say this, he could look at something in the mirror after that game and say, yeah,
I thought Coach Drill was playing off of his confidence. Hey, that's a big time. Never played a game in the NFL. Didn't even play in preseason last year. Goes out and does that. Thought Coach encapsulated it perfectly. He's done this. I mean, this guy played at the highest level of college football you can imagine. He's played in SEC championship games. I mean, you want to talk about pressure? Try playing in Atlanta for the University of Georgia in the SEC title game against Alabama. You know what I mean? Like, that's probably a bigger game, certainly a bigger game than he just played in last Friday.
that's right.
That's small potatoes compared to that. And playing against a bunch of guys he's going to see in the league anyway. So, that was no big deal.
And it was nice. It probably felt good for him because let's face it, these guys were in purgatory for 16 months. I mean, they were in a dark place.
It's an easy to love the game again.
And so good for them hanging in there, going through what they went through last year. Davis Webb, and particularly Jake Fromm, standing off to the side by himself, not being in the back of a huge conference room by himself.
Like I said last week, it's like the kid who was put in a corner.
Yeah.
And misbehaving.
Yeah, it's like he was on double secret probation. I mean, he just was treated differently. All of that. And to go through that while the team's having such success, and you're kind of being a part of it, but not being a part of it. Then to come out and actually get to take the field and throw some passes and call some plays in the huddle and have the guys watching, and it's just huge. It's just huge.
I kind of come away from that thinking about that now. I'm thinking Jake Fromm could probably come up with about 12 games that were more important, more pressure packed than the last 2 minutes of that game, without even blinking.
His entire college career, every time he took the field, he had no fans in the stands.
Yeah.
And they're louder. Oh my gosh.
He was like the designated survivor. You ever see that show?
Yes.
Designated survivor. That's who he was. We'll just kind of shovel you way over here while everybody else is doing whatever. We are going to take a break here because we'll have an opportunity to bring Star Lotulelei to you when we return. So we'll break here early so we can get the full comments From one star Lotulelei out to you next here on One Bills Live, presented by Collide Health, Buffalo Bills Radio.
WGR Sports Radio 550. All sports, all the time.
At Fisher Investments, our clients know we have their backs.
How do your clients know that?
Because Fisher Investments is a fiduciary, the highest standard for a financial advisor. It means we're there for our clients and always put their interests first.
So wait, you do it because you have to?
No, we do it because it's the right thing to do. Our clients trust us with their retirement savings, and we know how important that responsibility is. So we take the time to really get to know them.
Get to know them how?
We make sure we understand their unique goals, finances, health, family, and lifestyle, so we can tailor their portfolio to their specific needs. Our goal is to help them achieve a comfortable retirement.
Sounds like a big responsibility. You must make big commissions then, right?
No, we don't sell commission-based products. We have one single transparent fee that's structured so we do better when our clients do better. Visit FisherInvestments.com to find out why investors like you are switching to us. Fisher Investments, clearly different money management.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
This is attorney Josh Ramos from Ramos & Ramos. After being injured in an accident, you'll no doubt have questions, like who's going to pay my rent or mortgage if I can't work? We treat every case as if it's our only one because you are important.
Caring attorneys, helping good people. Ramos and Ramos, 340-0000. Ramos and Ramos.
This is Buffalo.
You stopped shaving, found your lucky koozie and hat. It's Bill season, and Labatt Blue Light QB1 Seltzer invites you to gear up. Scan the QR code on the Labatt Blue Light QB1 Seltzer display at participating retailers or restaurants like Mr. Goodbar, Caputi's, and Mitchell's Tavern, and enter for a chance to win Buffalo Bills shirts, hats, a signed LED panel, and tickets to a Bills home game. For alternate method of entry, info, and locations, go to WGR550.com/contest. Must be 21 or older, no purchase necessary.
Friday, August 20th, and Saturday, August 21st, the Reds Blues Festival takes the Big Indian stage at Big Indian Smoke Shop, featuring Indigenous. MC by Buffalo's own Blue Star, Tommy Z, also featuring Wayne Baker Brooks, Johnny Rawls, JJ White and Mojo Sauce, and many more. Tickets on sale now at Eventbrite.com. The Reds Blues Festival 2021, featuring Indigenous. Get your tickets today.
With the help of Cheerios or Crunch Almond, I have a favorite one this morning started with a smile. It has a delicious and hearty combination of the Cheerios you love, whole grain oats, and sliced almonds for an extra crunchy crunch. Set it over them for a great day. Look for Cheerios or Crunch Almond in your local grocery store.
Is your garage door ugly? We've got great news. The Hamburg Overhead Door Ugliest Garage Door Contest is back. To enter, simply take a picture of your ugly garage door, tell us why you need a new one, and upload it at WGR550.com or text DOOR to 20357 to receive a link to enter. Entry deadline is August 22nd. If you win, your garage door could go from appalling to appealing. Transform the look of your home with Hamburg Overhead Door. No purchase necessary. Message and data rates apply.
Holiday Valley in Elkinville is a family resort that rocks. The Double Black Diamond is a new dimension in golf with challenging holes, spectacular scenery, and a laid-back attitude. Test your inner Tarzan at Sky High Adventure Park and hop on the mountain coaster for a thrilling ride down the mountain. Then, relax and soak up the sun at the 3-pool swim complex. Come for the day or make it a vacation with close, convenient lodging. Find out more at holidayvalley.com.
Western New York is suffering a critical blood shortage that's expected to last throughout the summer. Your blood donation will Connect Life ensures local hospitals can treat the patients who need it. Even if you think someone else will donate, it's still not enough. Because enough is never enough. Our community's need for blood never stops. So, what's stopping you? Book your appointment now at connectlife.org/neverenough today.
Finding the perfect used car can feel like searching for a needle in a haystack. At Northtown, we make it simple with a focus on certified pre-owned. When you see the certified symbol from the official vehicle manufacturer, you know the vehicle has passed a rigorous inspection and comes with extra benefits, like a manufacturer warranty and roadside assistance. To find the best value Northtown Certified Vehicles. An official partner of the Buffalo Bills.
WGR Sports Radio 550. All sports, all the time.
Live, let's perhaps Steve Tasker. I stand corrected. We have found out that functily, a word used earlier this hour by one Steve Tasker, is in fact a word. To do in a funky manner. It's an adverb. It didn't sound like a word in the slightest, but there it is.
What is in the Scrabble dictionary?
It's worth 19 points. That's not even counting
Good thing we
like
were
double
playing
word or
Scrabble.
double letters. I love the people that use 3 letters, you know, and they get like a ridiculous number of ones. Ads. Like that was a word like 50 years ago. What do they call them? Ads, you know? Yeah. But now they use in any event, functily is a word. We will duly note that going forward here on the show as we try to be as upstanding of the English language as possible. But we move now to one star Lotulelei, who has addressed the media today following practice. I think he spoke to the media a little before at the outset of training camp, but did not play in the preseason game last weekend. Although Leslie Frazier, as we heard on the show today, is considering getting him on the field this week in Chicago. That is still to be determined, but it is a consideration here now. Is star Lotulelei.
The young guys, Coach Washington and Doc, have done a great job of getting ready for, you know, not only preseason, but for the season coming up. Feel like we got a lot of talent in the room, a lot of good mix of young guys that are around the middle, and some other guys. So I'm excited to see how the season goes and what we're able to do.
Prepare yourself. You need a lot of reps in preseason games to get yourself prepared. What do you need to have yourself prepared?
I mean, I played for the most part in every preseason game throughout my career. There's been a couple games that I sat out of, but I don't feel like I absolutely need to take a bunch of reps. I'd like to have some reps in the preseason, but I don't feel that, you know, overload of reps is necessary.
So was that new for you then, or Friday?
Like I said, I've sat out maybe 1 or 2 games before, but, you know, it's not something that I'm usually doing.
Spoke earlier and said that it was based on the work that you've done in practice, why they felt comfortable, like, in a good way, of course, meeting that. Do you feel like, given that you had sharing over here from minicamp, but do you feel like you've hit the ground running and are where you expected to be at this point?
I'm not, you know, overly confident, you know, super happy with it, but I'm not, I'm okay right now with where I'm at. I feel like these next two weeks, two games, and then, you know, that couple days, I'll be ready to go.
So things, you're still, I guess, climbing uphill, trying to get back after a year off.
Yeah, it's tough sitting out a year. It's hard. I mean, playing a year and then you got the off season to come back, you can never really be prepared for the future. You can run and you can lift and you can train yourself, but you can't really train yourself for football unless you're playing football. So taking a year off from that, you know, trying to get my legs back under me as far as running around, you know, for those 6, 7, 8 seconds, all out, and then you get a little break, and then, you know, you can't really simulate football. So just getting that opportunity and being back into it, you know, getting my legs back under me, stuff like that.
Your body get a couple hits, at least in the preseason.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. I mean, it helps. You training camp, we're in full pads most of the time, and we're banging, but, you know, until you get that real rep against someone else who you're actually trying to make a play on, and they're trying to, you know, actually real, you need that. I think you need that before the regular season starts. I'm always nervous for games. I don't think that'll ever change. I feel more unrest when I'm not nervous.
Different this year.
No. You know, my body definitely feels like I didn't play a whole season, you know, but I mean, I feel like once you get into the later years of your career, I don't think you can ever call yourself really fresh.
What is it for you like thinking on the field and off the field that you guys
I mean, in the locker room, me and Harry are right next to each other. We provide similar things on the field, and we bounce ideas off of each other. We talk about plays, we talk about, sometimes we just talk about, regular life. So just happen to be there and talk to each other and just enjoy each other's company. I think that's pretty much it.
You touched on your weight in camp. You said you were a little under, but nothing too drastic. Where are you right now?
This morning I was around 309, so about 310. I usually come into the season I usually come in lighter, but I wanted to come in, heavier to kind of protect myself. I didn't want to come in super light after taking off a year and then get thrown around by all these guys. So, I came in a little bit heavier than I usually do, but I'm around 308. That's usually my playing weight is around 308 to 310, maybe 312. So anywhere in there, I'm good.
What was your position group? Luke Keithley was here, kind of off the linebackers. What was it kind of like being around him?
No, it was great to see Luke, man. I love Luke. That's my guy. Spent the first 5 years of my career with Luke, and his great experience. I feel like he's, hopefully, I believe he'll be in the Hall of Fame one day. So having that opportunity to play with like a Hall of Famer behind you, it's awesome. And just the kind of person he is, he's a great guy. He's a great leader.
You can teach some of the younger linebackers up to Tremaine.
Yeah, I think he's a great source for Tremaine, and even Matt. They're both Boston College guys, and but really anybody in that room learns so much from Luke. How to be professional, how to be great at his position. Technique things. He was such a smart player. How he saw the field, how he saw plays. What he saw. I think they can learn. I think these guys, they're a little spoiled having Luke in there, man. So I'd take advantage of it with anybody in that room.
I mentioned earlier, mentioning how happy he was to have you back, but I feel like it's been every defensive player that's at where you are right now have all commented on the impact that you have and how you make their lives easier. To know your teammates are saying that about you and that they're happy to see you, happy to know what you can do for this defense. Just what's your reaction to how they've sort of embraced having you back?
Yeah, it's great, man. It's great to be back. Like I said, I enjoy being around these guys. This is a special group of guys, especially on the defensive side where I spend most of the time. Locker room's a great group of guys, but on the defense, there's, like I said, all around this is a good mix of younger, middle guys, and then older guys. So, we spend time together on the field, but also we do stuff together on the field. I'm usually a guy who likes to stay home, but being here, being around these guys, I'll get out sometimes and go out and hang out with them, spend some time with them. They're just a great group of guys. It's good guys to be around. You want to do your best for guys like that, guys that you like being around, guys that you respect and stuff like that. So you want to go out and do your best for them.
As a veteran, what's your message in regards to the opportunity at hand this season and understanding you've been to a Super Bowl and you don't necessarily know how easy you'll ever get back there. The talent on this team, Manny said it. How do you look at this season in regards to standing your best shot?
Yeah, that's the time now. For the young guys that we brought in, we try to get to them, get in the playbook, understand what your goals, understand what your job is. Same thing for everybody on the team, especially getting everybody on board, because at the times now, you can never say, especially now, you can never say, we got next year, we got next year. You never know who you'll bring in, who's leaving, who's staying, stuff like that. So, the time is now.
So that's Lotulelei, who said he's coming to camp a little bit younger to kind of protect his own body against the wear and tear of his position, man, especially from the all-time. And said his body feels like he hasn't played in a year, which I think he views as a good thing. He doesn't feel all beat up and sore. So, yeah, and it doesn't mind doing it dirty.
No question, they missed him last year, and sometimes you never know. I think we have yet to see it. You never know, because it's easy enough for a team who struggles, or like last year, early in the season, Bills run and struggle, and it's easier to think that by having Lotulelei in the lineup, that somehow there's a magic wand that you wave, and all of a sudden everything's going to be fixed. I don't know that it's that simple, but I don't think there's no coincidence that a lot of guys missed that guy. Not only off the field, but certainly on the field. And when he opted out, and this guy's a former first-round pick, and he's played like it. So, yeah, they missed it. What that looks like when he's on the field, and how much it affects the guys around him, You know, we'll see. We'll see if this defense gets a lot better this year. Certainly, you could look to have, I mean, you talk about we going all around, how many guys are going to keep, they're keeping that guy. And that's one less guy that there's room for on that rotation.
You better believe they're hoping that guy helps improve the consistency of play of an out who is likely to be lined up next to him with you of the time. And hopefully Star is occupied too. So Ed can just deal with it one-on-one, being the undersized guy, type that he is. So hopefully that comes to pass and is more productive as a result. Not that Star is going to be a numbers guy. He's not going to rank high in any of them. His job is just try to keep them outside so that penetrators and guys off the edge can get advantageous matchups and things. Really is a dirty work in every sense of the word. We have to take a break, but when we come back, it's the return of NFL film senior producer Greg himself, who has chopped up the tape on the Bills and the Lions, left, right, and center. He's going to tell us who looked good when we return. You're on One Bills Live, presented by Clyde Health, Buffalo Bills Radio.
WGR Sports Radio 550. All sports, all the time.
Injured in an accident? You really need to call the Barnes Firm. With offices downtown and on right, they can help you. Call 1-800-8-million. Call them right now. It's the best call you could make.
When a friend suggests shopping at a smoke shop other than Decade's psychedelic days, are they your friend? Just say no. Choose the one that more Buffalo football fans choose than any other. Decades offers top quality products and accessories from Black Sheep Gallery, crushed glass, oil rigs, and the area's finest selection of American-made glass, kratom, and more. Go where the fans go. Decades. Seneca Street, West Seneca, Sheridan Drive, Tonawanda, Transit Road, Depew, and Camp Road. Decades. Psychedelic Days. West New York's grooviest smoke shop.
Goodyear tires keep vehicles that are thousands of pounds traveling at high speeds firmly connected to the road for thousands of miles. Now, imagine what it's like having the same performance and quality on your Skechers. Introducing Skechers footwear with Goodyear rubber. We've taken the same high-performance rubber compound in Goodyear tires and fused it into Skechers high-quality, stylish footwear. Skechers uses Goodyear rubber to enhance our footwear's traction, durability, and stability in almost any weather condition on almost any surface. For grip and long-lasting wear like you've never experienced. From high-performance running sneakers to cool sandals to rugged hiking boots to casual kicks and work footwear, Skechers with Goodyear rubber will give you the traction and stability you need to perform your best. Skechers is the leader in comfort technology with innovations like air-cooled memory foam, arch fit, stretch fit, relax fit, and so many more. Because they're Skechers, you know they're going to be comfortable. For comfort, performance, and durability, Skechers and Goodyear, where the sneakers meet the road. Find them at Skechers.com, a Skechers store, or wherever stylish footwear is sold.
Whatever you're looking for, you'll find it at Northtown. Get to the #1 Hyundai dealer in Western New York during the 99 days of summer at Northtown and the Hyundai Getaway Sales Event. It's Janet Snyder inviting you to use the 2021 Hyundai Sonata SE for just $259 a month with 0 down for 36 months, plus taxes, acquisition fees, and first payment. That's it. Only $259 a month. Comes with lane keep assist, forward collision, smart cruise, and more. Just $259 a month. Get America's best warranty and 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. Plus get Hyundai assurance when purchasing from Northtown Hyundai. Shop online at northtownhyundai.com. It's a step. Northtown, the official dealership of the Buffalo Bills.
$23,685 purchase price after $1,500 HMF bonus tax. $10,000 free release. Lease residual by $50,001 left. #1 Hyundai dealer based on January to December 2024 results. Offer ends 9/7/21.
Remember, whatever you're looking for, find it at Northtown. Putting solar panels on your house isn't something you do for yourself. It's something you do for your family, for your kids, for future generations. Will it save you money? Sure, but it'll also save the planet. What are you waiting for? An invitation? Okay, here's your invitation. Find out if solar is right for you at solarbycir.com. Mention this ad and get $550 off your install.
Hi, Steve Tasker for Western Lincoln in Amherst, the exclusive new Lincoln seller in Western New York, and the only place to buy or lease a new Lincoln in Buffalo. This month, we invite you to come in and check out a new 2021 Lincoln Nautilus or a new 2021 Lincoln Corsair. Or even better, come in right now and custom order your new Lincoln today. Select the options you want and make your new Lincoln exclusively yours. Options to your individual preference and needs. The way a car should be. And enjoy customer service as it should be as well, with the convenience of Wester's concierge service. Before you buy, we will bring any new Lincoln to you to test drive anywhere in Western New York, work, or home. Western Lincoln's concierge service means that whether you live in the North Towns, South Towns, or anywhere in Western New York, we will bring a vehicle to you on your timeline at your convenience. And after you purchase, it's the same for service and maintenance appointments. We pick up your vehicle and return it to you when the work is complete. Western Lincoln in Amherst on Millersport Highway, just north of UB. It's all about personal customer service. If you're thinking Lincoln, think West Herd, your very best option.
At the New York Lottery, we're proud of our great state. That's why we're excited to introduce the limited edition New York Series Scratch-Out game. Each ticket features an illustration of a New York icon from around the state. For $5, you get a chance to win up to $1 million, plus other great cash prizes. Inspired by New York, made for New York. The New York Series from the New York Lottery. You must be 18 years or older to purchase a lottery ticket. Please play responsibly.
Hi, I'm Josh Allen, quarterback for the Buffalo Bills. Teamwork is defined as the combined action of a group, especially when effective and efficient. But in Western New York, it's truly defined by the critical care team at Oshai Children's Hospital. This team doesn't just win games, they save lives. Join me to support their life-changing wins. Give today at PatriciaAllenFund.org.
Sports Radio 550 WGR Buffalo, WKSE HD2 Niagara Falls, Buffalo, 98.5 FM.
An Odyssey station.
And Steve Tasker has been all over the field. And he was kind of a little roll player.
Steve! A blip? We're not even in the stratosphere of normalcy. Here we are, round number 3 on a Monday, and it's a good day, Steve. You want to know why it's a good day? Why is it a good day? Because senior producer for NFL Films and co-host of ESPN's NFL Matchup Show, Greg Cosell is back. You know, football is right on the cusp of returning. It is a good when you see this mug show up on the screen for our MSG viewers.
It is a mug.
Greg, how you doing, man? It's good to see you.
No, it's football's back. I'm pretty excited for this season. I have all my gold definitive statements ready after one preseason win. So
It's funny because I know you're loving this because we said, here's a list of like, I don't know, it's 10 guys, 8 guys. Watch these guys and give us your advice. That is like your wheelhouse, right? Is that like the work to do?
yeah, well, no. Needless to say, Steve, and I hope I'm not going to say anything wrong here, but I can't watch all these preseason games every snap. It's just, it's not going to happen.
Oh, of course not.
Nobody's blaming you.
I'm right down with you, bro. I'm watching one.
Yeah. But with that in mind, why don't we dive right in here? I don't know if there were any overarching thoughts that you took away from the Bills' first preseason game against the Lions, but if there are, why don't you take a swing here and just maybe give us some of your maybe concrete impressions that you feel comfortable weighing in on. I know it's only one preseason game, it's not real football, but was there anything you took away from it that made you feel favorably about some aspects of the Bills' play?
Well, I think you're starting with the rookies, because look, we know what they're trying to do with the defensive front. And by the way, I actually, this summer, believe it or not, maybe we can get into this another time, I watched every Bills defense third down snap from last year. So I did that this summer. And they're actually much more multiple and much more aggressive with pressure than you can probably think. But anyway, obviously I was interested in seeing Epinesa, second-year player. I was interested in seeing Rousseau and Basham, 2 first-year players, because obviously they put a lot of draft capital in the last 2 years into this defensive front. And while they are more aggressive than many might think, based on what Sean McDermott and Leslie Frazier have done throughout their careers, I think we all know that they would like to be able to generate meaningful pressure from their down four. So obviously, I focused my attention on that, and I was interested to see Rousseau, given that I thought 2 years ago, 2015, the last time he played in college, and obviously, he played all the snaps in this game outside, and I thought his first two pass rushes were really intriguing. One was speed to power to immediately jar Kenny Sewell on his first pass rush. And then he had an inside arm stab on a second pass rush, which against a guy that, and I'm not saying this is a joke, I've heard people I expect say this going against a tackle who many think will be a Hall of Fame player when his career is over. So I thought that was a real positive sign.
Yeah, and when Rousseau, he got the sack actually, and I thought, even when we were doing the game live, the inside rush might be the dip there was really the difference, but that was really a combination rush that ended up in a sack for Rousseau, but I think Harrison Phillips flashed on that play right there on the inside on the guard one-on-one, but that was Blake. It's really a weapon that here, even at this early stage, he seems to be able to exploit.
Yeah, and as you know, Steve, just like size is a trade for a quarterback. There's the difference between, Josh Allen and Baker Mayfield. 6'5", 240 is a trait. And so he is a really long player. You're 100% right. He jarred Sewell on that first rush with speed and power, but then his length and his reach really allowed him to continue that on. Go down. But I'm really anxious to see Rousseau continue to develop because I wasn't sure watching his college tape. Obviously, he opted out in 2020, but I wasn't sure watching his college tape in 2019 if he could be a truly dominant edge player. And obviously, he's starting to
Jason Tatum for the Miami Dolphins. Long guy with great reach, and he plays with great leverage. Is that like maybe the top end for a guy like Rousseau?
Well, that's the top end. It would be pretty good.
Yeah, right. I'd say that. Yeah, exactly. I mean, the guy's in the Hall of Fame, but
yeah, the guy's in the Hall of Fame.
Right.
I think they feel second sack or that second rush that I mentioned with the sack, I found really interesting because it was that one-arm stab where you use that inside arm, and if you're proactive with that stab, and to get your hand inside the pass rusher before he can strike you, that's really good because then that length is back. To really be able to use that reach and length, Steve, as you talked about, and if he can really do that with hand usage, then you have something. So that's why I thought those first two, and there's the first one that he got credit for on the sack. That's